This is a Blairing Out with Eric Blair show, and today I'm here with September of September Mourning. Does September have the ability to feel joy and peace of mind, or is her human side dealing with the constant burden of heartbreak and mental anguish?
When she takes a soul, she absorbs the soul, and in about, 30, 45 seconds, she feels everything, she sees, she remembers everything that soul has experienced in their whole entire life. That's a lot of crap. It's kind of like a high. It's kind of like, I'd say, injecting a drug and just getting really high, or having this like crazy orgasm. It's like, that's what it feels like. It's neither positive nor negative. It's just intense, you know? So for her, like, it's all about the intensity. It's not about the actual feeling. The feeling comes from her drive to help humanity as a whole. From the beginning, she doesn't remember who she is. So there's like this story arc of her trying to figure out who she is, who she was, where she came from, like this whole thing. Then there's an overlying storyline of, you know, her trying to basically save humanity from fate, who's trying to destroy it all and start anew. There's different storylines happening within the comic book. So she's never really relaxing. She's always like in a state of kind of like, not distress, but kind of like what's going on sort of state.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be very tiring for somebody.
But if you're eternal, you know, you're eternal, you don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't do, you know, that's just what you are. It's not tiring, because what is tiring? Nothing's tiring.
But I'm thinking she still has the human side of her, though. Is that in soul only, or is that in physical?
I don't think it's physical. I think it's her soul. It's her like moral, intrinsic moral value. Like that's what it is. You know, not really like, oh, she needs to take a nap.
How accountable are you and your character September to the fans you call the children of fate?
Very accountable. I mean, you know, in a way, it's kind of like I mirror September in this, you know, like September's trying to protect her flock, you know, and I'm trying to protect my flock, you know, and this is, I think that every artist is kind of does that. They're very protective over their people, you know, they're very like involved in their fans, especially nowadays with the internet and you being so personal and personalized.
How we would see that accountability play out between you and these children of fate?
I have fans that message me. I have fans that come up to me at shows. We talk about personal things that they're going through. You know, they find a lot of solace in the music and the message, and this kind of empowering sort of message, you know, taking your life by your bootstraps and pulling yourself out of it sometimes. And I think that, you know, when you give somebody strength and you empower somebody, it's a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful bond to have with somebody, you know, and it's crazy because like this last time we were out on the road, we had so many fans, just, you know, I had so many people come up to me and give me little mementos and little gifts that they made for me, and poems and letters, and I have this one particular fan, Jen, who like is really coming out of her shell. She's been very like protected. She always protects herself, and then all of a sudden, like I see her kind of like blossoming and blooming and just taking the chance to say things, and that's so important, you know. And it's incredible to see that. It really is. So proud of our fans, and I call them our family because, you know, they're very, very close.
What brings you the most peace in your life?
Performing on stage. When I'm up there, it's like that's my place. Nobody can touch me up there, you know. That's the most peaceful, calm, serene I ever feel in life is there. Even more over than sleeping, I'd say, is just on stage. Like it's just my place. It's my home. That's home.
So how does September judge which souls are worthy for a second chance?
September makes her own judgments. This is the part that gets a little bit hairy, because in a way she's playing God. Mm-hmm. And that's not good, because nobody should play quote unquote God with anybody's life. But she's trying to do the best within her judgment and with her moral conscience, her humanity, which is always flawed, by the way, mm-hmm. to make the best decision for these lives and these souls. So, it's just kind of her judgment. It could go either way depending on how she feels about the person and what they've accomplished in life and what she thinks that they will accomplish in life.
In your Before the Fall music video, what is the symbolism of applying the lipstick to the mouth of the boy and placing the handgun in your mouth?
The whole premise of that video is this boy that stumbles upon September in this dark alley, and she's been hunting him. She's been watching him. This isn't really something that happens. She knows it's going to happen. She puts herself in his way. And he's kind of gone down a dark path of destruction. His father was very abusive to him, so he's abusing himself now. So she is meant to take his soul. She is commanded by fate to take this soul, this good soul. He's going to commit suicide. He's going to do it, and she can't stop that. She's not a physical being really, so she can't prevent that from happening. As she's taking his soul, she sees all this cycle of abuse. She sees the drugs. She sees all of this stuff that's happening. And it comes into her, and he ends up committing suicide, and that's what happens. That's how it happens. And at the very end, you see him on the floor, like the father comes, and you see the father come to September looking for the son. He's the main abuser in all of this. And he comes, she kills him because he's the reason that this soul is taking this bad turn. So she kills him, and she places the boy's soul into the father to live again. Right? Mm-hmm. So she swaps out that soul and gives him into this body. So that's her way of giving him a second chance of life and stopping the abuse.
And then the handgun in the mouth. What is the symbolism?
It's not really her doing it. It's a very artistic way to do it. She's him, he's her. The two lives being parallel, and she's absorbing it, and she's feeling all these memories, and she knows what's happening to him, but it's not really her, it's him.
If you could fix one injustice in the world, what would it be?
Well, everybody should have food. Another thing, curing cancer. That's one thing that, how can we do all this technology and we can't do that yet? So there are just so many injustices, but those are the main ones for me.
So what do you think of Christianity?
I'm not the most religious person per se. I have faith, and I am very spiritual. And I think that that's where my morals and my backbone and everything I am stem from, that spirituality, more than going to a church every Sunday and praying to a god or a deity or whatever. I think, like I said before, September Mourning, the comic book, is all about energy, and it's about that, and it's about the negativity and the positivity and the spirituality of the subject, and that is very much a part of me.
The way you judge right and wrong, something that comes from within you, or do those morals and that view of life come from somewhere else?
Well, I think all of our views and of life and moral intrinsic value, I mean, sometimes we're born with it, I suppose, but I think that it's kind of like a man versus environment sort of thing. I mean, it's all how you were raised and, what you grew up with and what you experienced. I experienced many different things in life when I was at a very young age, more than probably any human being really should experience. But I think that's what kind of gave me my moral compass. And I think that's really important. I believe that people that don't experience hardships when they're very young don't grow up with that moral, maybe don't grow up with that moral compass. They have to kind of learn it.
What inspired the lyrics to the song Eye of the Storm?
Eye of the Storm. We need like storm going on, like lightning and thunder and stuff like that.
What a great song. Melodically, you wrote a great song.
Thank you. That song is very precious to me. It's one of those songs that I wrote really fast. It's like, I love those songs that just kind of like come out of you. You don't have to think about them. You just hear the music and you sing something and you find the words, or the words find you. That's a very spiritual thing, is when you write a song and the words just kind of like, they're just meant to be in those places, and you realize that, and it's like something in the universe just hits you and just the energies collide, and that's the song. And that song particularly is just all about that. They're just where they are. They're where they're meant to be. It's kind of, it's kind of like a call to arms, you know. It tells a little bit about her life, about September's life, you know, the dark soldiers, you know, fighting for the worthless and the damned. Like the verses are very like, you know, about the comic book, but the chorus is like a call to arms. Like, you know, if you feel defeated, if you feel like you can't get up, if you feel like that life is just pushing you down, you're like, look towards the light, look towards this project, look towards music, look towards art, and like let it lift you up. So it's a very spiritual song in a way.
How about Love is War?
No, Love is War. That was a demo that we did for an album that we released in Germany. They were all demos on that album. Like, we didn't really want to release it, but this company was like, hey, we'll release it for you. You want to put something out? And we were like, okay, sure, let's do it. And that was kind of like a song that mirrored a relationship that I had at the time. And, you know, September has different relationships with all the different souls that she keeps and that she takes. And, you know, in one of the souls, in one of the particular storylines, there's some stuff going on between a man and a woman, and that's Love is War. And it's about love, and it's about, like we were talking about, how do you define love? Like, sometimes love is war. It's all out war. It's amazing. You can love somebody, and you can't like them. Like, it's a weird, like, thing. Sometimes if you love somebody this much, you hate them this much. It's a very, you know, juxtaposition of feelings that goes along with love. So I think that song is all about that. Well, in life, right, you can never experience true happiness if you've never felt despair. Like, I mean, if you haven't felt that crap, like, to feel the amount of feeling of joy is not there yet, you know? Like, you have to go through the trenches to feel the joy. I'm very much about that, you know? So I believe that's the same thing in love, you know? It's something that when you take a vow, when you get married, like, for better or for worse, right? You know, you have to go through it all, because you have to experience it all, because love is it's all parts of somebody. It's the bad stuff and it's the good stuff. It's not just the good stuff.
The Blairing Out Show.